Ladies and gentlemen, let me speak to your potential, not your past. Let me speak to your destiny, not your distractions. God has a better plan for you. But here's the problem. You keep wasting time chasing what He never assigned to you. You're out here asking for direction with one hand, but clinging to distractions with the other. How are you supposed to receive a blessing with your hands full of what you were never meant to carry? Let's make this educational and plain. Time is not just a human resource, it's a divine currency. You can lose money and make it back, lose friends and make new ones. But once time is gone, so the question is, what are you trading your time for? If you're studying for a degree, don't just aim for the paper, aim for purpose. If you're working that job, don't just show up, grow up. Show God that you're faithful over little so He can trust you with much. You see, purpose over popularity, that's the lesson. Stop following the crowd and start following your calling. You weren't made to fit in, you were born to stand out on assignment. Just because it's taking longer than you thought doesn't mean God forgot you. Delay is not denial. He's building something in you that can't be microwaved. It's got to be marinated. Purpose over popularity. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest lessons you'll ever have to live by. We live in a world that rewards visibility more than value. Everybody wants likes, clicks, comments, and followers. But let me tell you something real. Purpose doesn't need applause. It just needs obedience. Your calling might not go viral, but it will be vital for your peace, your progress, and your legacy. When you chase popularity, you're constantly looking outward for validation. You start measuring your worth by the noise around you instead of the voice within you. But purpose is quiet. Purpose doesn't scream for attention. It moves with intention. It doesn't shift with trends. It stays grounded in truth. See, the problem is too many people are sacrificing purpose on the altar of attention. You're doing what's cool instead of what's right. You're saying yes to everything just to be accepted, but inside you feel empty. That's because popularity feeds your ego, but purpose feeds your soul. One makes you look good for a moment. The other makes you be good for a lifetime. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being liked. We all want to be seen. But when being seen becomes more important than being true, you lose yourself. You compromise. You water down your values. And you start molding yourself to fit an image that was never yours to carry. Purpose, on the other hand, demands patience. It doesn't show up overnight. It's shaped in silence, formed in frustration, and revealed in the refining fire of discipline. Purpose will have you questioning yourself. It'll separate you from the crowd. It might even isolate you. But here's the key. It'll also elevate you. You weren't created to please everybody. You were created to fulfill something greater than applause, something more eternal than trends. Think about it. Some of the greatest inventors, thinkers, and leaders weren't popular when they started. They were misunderstood, rejected, laughed at, but they stayed the course. They chose purpose over comfort, purpose over ease, purpose over popularity. In educational terms, this applies directly to your goals, your study, your vision. Maybe you're in a field of study no one understands. Maybe your friends are choosing easier paths or more glamorous ones. But if you've been called to a mission, whether that's medicine, art, teaching, or engineering, then stay the course. Don't switch majors because it's more in to be something else. Don't abandon your dream because it doesn't come with a spotlight. Some of the most world-changing work happens in the background by people who didn't care who noticed, as long as the work got done. Purpose isn't about being first. It's about being faithful. It's not about fame. It's about impact. And real impact doesn't need credit. It just needs consistency. When you live for your purpose, you start aligning your time, your energy, and your relationships around that mission. You make decisions based on where you're going, not who's watching. And when you do that, when you commit to the deeper call on your life, you'll find something popularity could never give you: peace. So stop letting the crowd choose your path. Don't let the trends choose your voice. God gave you something specific to do, something this world needs. And it won't always be easy or flashy, but if it's from Him, it will always be worth it. Choose purpose. Every time. Discipline equals freedom. That may sound like a contradiction, but it's a foundational truth, especially if you want to live a life of purpose, peace, and progress. Too often, people confuse freedom with doing whatever they want. whenever they want. But real freedom doesn't come from chaos. It comes from control, from structure, from discipline. The more disciplined you are in your mind, your habits, and your values, the more space you create to actually live fully and freely. Let's make it practical. Think about a student who studies every day, turns in assignments on time, gets enough sleep, and avoids distractions. That student might seem restricted on the surface, but when the exam comes, they're ready. They're calm. They're calm. That's freedom. That's the power of discipline. While others panic, they're prepared. While others make excuses, they move forward. Because the freedom to excel didn't come from last-minute cramming. It came from daily commitment. The same principle applies in every area of life. In your career, your relationships, your finances, discipline is the difference between wishing and winning. You can wish for a better life all day long, but if you don't have the discipline to build it brick by brick, you'll never see it. Dreams without discipline become regrets. But dreams partnered with discipline become reality. People often say, I just want to be happy, or I want peace of mind. Well, let me ask you, are your daily habits built for peace or for pressure? Because freedom is not the absence of responsibility. It's the result of responsibility. It's waking up knowing you're not behind because you've been doing the work. It's going to bed without anxiety because you know you honored your purpose today. That's freedom. And it cuts through discipline. Now, discipline isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. You don't have to run 10 miles a day. Just show up and run one. You don't have to be the smartest in the room. Just keep learning. Just keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's when discipline does its best work, when motivation fades. There will be days you're tired. Days you feel unseen. Days when it looks like nothing is changing. But keep showing up, because discipline trains your character. It develops your resilience. It strengthens your mind to keep going when others quit. And in the process, it opens doors you didn't even know were waiting for you. Let's talk faith. If you believe God has a plan for you, then you have to honor that belief with your actions. Faith without works is dead. And discipline is a form of work. It says, God, I trust you enough to prepare, even when I don't see the outcome yet. It's waking up and studying the Word. It's staying faithful in small things. It's managing your time, your energy, your resources, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you know who you're becoming. Look around. So many people are trapped by their own lack of discipline. Trapped in debt, trapped in cycles of procrastination, trapped in broken relationships. And they call it bad luck. But more often than not, it's the absence of consistent, focused action. You want freedom? Budget your money. Manage your time. Build healthy boundaries. Wake up with a plan. Say no to what doesn't serve your mission. That's not restrictive. That's liberating. Because now your life isn't being tossed around by every temptation, every distraction, every emotion. Now you're living with clarity, with intention, with power. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. It's not easy, it's not always fun, but it will always be worth it. Because when you live with discipline, you don't just survive, you thrive. You don't just wish, you walk in purpose. And that is true freedom. Delay isn't denial. That's a truth most people struggle to accept, especially in a world where everything is instant. Instant messages, instant updates, instant results. But purpose doesn't work like a microwave. It works like a slow-cooking oven. What's being built in you takes time, and just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. It means the foundation is still being laid. It means you're not being rejected. You're being refined. You see, when something takes time, that time isn't being wasted. It's being used to prepare you, sharpen you, stretch you, used to mature your character so that when the opportunity arrives, you don't just take it, you can handle it. Because getting something too early can be just as dangerous as not getting it at all. Think of it like a seed in the soil. You plant it, but you don't see it growing right away. The roots have to develop underground before anything breaks the surface. You have to water it, protect it, be patient with it. If you dig it up too soon just because you can't see progress, you kill what was destined to grow. Life is the same way. Just because you can't see the movement doesn't mean something powerful isn't happening behind the scenes. Delay builds depth. Delay builds discernment. Delay builds discipline. Sometimes the reason God delays something is because He knows you're not just waiting for it. It's also waiting for you to become who you need to be to sustain it. You want the platform, but are you ready for the pressure? You want the relationship, but are you healthy enough to love without fear, without control, without insecurity? You want the breakthrough, but can you carry the responsibility that comes with the blessing? In the educational sense, this applies directly to your journey. Maybe you didn't get into the school you wanted. Maybe your grades aren't where you hoped they'd be. Maybe your career is taking longer to start than your peers. That doesn't mean you failed. It means there's something in this season that's necessary for your development. A lesson, a growth point, a divine appointment. You have to trust the process, not just the outcome. We often confuse a no with a not now. But when you're walking in purpose, delay is often a form of protection. Sometimes what you think you're ready for would overwhelm you. You might be praying for a door to open, but what if that door leads to a room you're not built to be in yet? God doesn't just prepare the blessing, He prepares you for the blessing. And that preparation takes time. Look through history. Every great leader, thinker, and innovator faced delays. People who went through years, sometimes decades, of waiting, working being shaped. Joseph had a dream as a teenager, but didn't see it fulfilled until years later. After betrayal, prison, and false accusations. That wasn't punishment. It was preparation. So don't rush the process. Don't compare your timeline to someone else's highlight reel. Your pace is not their pace. Your purpose is not their purpose. And your delay is not a denial. It's divine timing at work. It's God saying, I'm doing something in you, and I won't let you step into this until you're truly ready to hold it with both hands and a strong heart. Use the delay. Don't waste it complaining. Don't waste it doubting. Learn, grow, heal, refocus, be faithful in the small things. Because when the right door opens, and it will, you'll walk through it not just excited, but equipped. Delay isn't the end of your story. It's just the page before the breakthrough. Keep turning the pages. Keep showing up. The best chapters are still being written. Time is divine currency. You can spend it, invest it, waste it, but you can never get it back. Every second that passes is a second you'll never see again, and that makes time more valuable than money, more precious than opportunity, more sacred than status. While money lost can be regained, time lost is gone forever. So the question becomes, how are you spending this gift called time? We often say we don't have time, but that's not usually the truth. It's not that we don't have time, it's that we're not using it with intention. We trade hours for distractions, for meaningless scrolling, for chasing validation, and then wonder why we feel empty at the end of the day. It's not just about being busy. You can be busy doing the wrong things. You can fill a calendar and still miss your calling. Time doesn't ask for permission. It keeps moving whether you're ready or not. That's why every moment matters. Not because you need to be perfect, but because you need to be purposeful. You don't have to do everything, but you must do what matters. It's what contributes to your growth, your faith, your calling, your future. Time spent growing is time invested. Time spent drifting is time drained. Look at the patterns of your day. What are you giving your time to that gives nothing back to your destiny? What habits, what relationships, what mindsets are costing you more than you can afford? Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you're saying no to something that does. That's a hard truth, but a freeing one. Because once you realize how valuable your time is, you'll start guarding it like treasure. Education is a perfect example. Some students treat their study time like an inconvenience, not realizing that it's the very foundation of their freedom. Those hours spent reading, writing, practicing, preparing, they are not wasted. They are seeds, and the harvest comes not immediately, but inevitably. But if you trade those hours for distractions, if you live only in the now without thinking of the next, you're robbing your future to please your present. This applies beyond academics too. Spiritually, emotionally, financially, your time is a form of stewardship. How you use it reflects how much you value what you've been given. God didn't give you life for you to coast. He gave you life to contribute, to serve, to build, to impact. So when you waste time, you're not just losing minutes, you're losing momentum. Let's be real. There will always be things fighting for your time. Social media, peer pressure, entertainment, toxic people, worry, regret. But you have to be intentional. You have to step back and ask, is this helping me or holding me? Because every wasted moment creates distance between you and the version of yourself that God designed you to be. That doesn't mean you can never rest or relax. Rest is wholly necessary and wise. But rest is different from procrastination. Rest is strategic. Procrastination is expensive. And the difference is your awareness of purpose. When you start treating time like a divine resource, everything shifts. You plan better. You think clearer. You stop waiting for the right time and realize this is the right time. Now, today, this moment. Because purpose doesn't live in someday. It lives in today's decisions. You don't drift into destiny. You decide your way there, one disciplined hour at a time. So stop saying, I'll do it later. Stop thinking you have forever. Use your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Your peace, your progress, your impact, it all flows from how you manage the minutes. Time is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to Him. In conclusion, the life you're called to live isn't built on chance, it's built on choice. Every second you spend matters. Every decision you make either pulls you closer to your purpose or pushes you further from it. Stop wasting time on what doesn't serve your calling. Stop chasing what's popular and start pursuing what's purposeful. Embrace discipline, honor the delay, and treat your time like the sacred gift it is. God's plan for you is greater than anything you can imagine, but it requires your focus, your faith, and your full attention. So starting today, live like you believe it. Walk like you're on assignment. And remember, God's plan is better, but He's waiting on you to stop wasting time.